I foolishly believed that it was an honor when I was asked to speak tonight. Then I learned that it was actually a punishment because I was forced to follow Kimberly Manning. Each year, we honor two people presenting this award. That year's recipient, of course, and also the man after whom the award is named. And I am delighted to have been asked to share a few thoughts about each with you tonight. To keep the suspense building just a little while longer, I'm going to start with my friend and colleague, Steve Gradwohl. As time goes on, we have more people within our division who didn't have the good fortune to know Steve, and so I want to talk a little bit, as others have tonight, about some of the traits that made him special. Now, Steve would not want to be portrayed as some sort of medical superhero, even though it's true that an unbuttoned lab coat does sort of look like a cape. But he was a great guy and a superb doctor, and there is much to learn from him. And I'm referring only to the medical side, not Steve, the friend and family man, not Steve, the actor, who earned 4 Tony Award nominations during his storied career with the Burns Park Players. This is a challenging time to be a doctor. A challenging time to be a primary care doctor, for certain. You all know why. Who hasn't had a spike in blood pressure when confronting the proliferation of online patient messages? Yes, we are all at risk for this rather new version of portal hypertension. Moreover, too often it seems as if we've become distanced from the goals we had when we decided to become physicians, inexorably carried away from them in a boat made of computer keyboards, billing regulations, and FMLA forms. Steve knew those challenges, and of course, like all of us, he was affected by the demands and the frustrations. But I believe he was able to keep his boat anchored by never losing his focus on the things that attracted him to medicine in the first place. One of these was scientific curiosity. Steve relished clinical conversations with his colleagues, and he spoke about medicine with an energetic and infectious enthusiasm. He loved great cases and learning new things. And he appreciated the art of clinical practice, never forgetting the subtle differences among patients that make what we do so much more nuanced and interesting. Yes, Steve practiced evidence-based medicine, but also something just as important, what I like to call relationship-based medicine. Steve was naturally proficient in forging the kind of rapport that we all seek with our patients, one based on mutual respect and affection, the kind in which patients don't want to tell you how they're doing until they first heard how you and your family are doing. The kind in which patients are reluctant to act on the recommendation of the specialist until they first had a chance to run it past you, the trusted primary care doctor. The kind in which you know in advance, for each patient, what non-medical topics you'll enjoy chatting about, even if too briefly. The kind that bring joy to the practice of medicine. Because he crafted these close connections, Steve's patients had great confidence in what he had to say. Importantly, this relationship-based medicine was a way for him to stay anchored to another reason many of us gave when asked why we sought to be doctors. I want to help people. Well, when you want to help people, the vast majority of them recognize and appreciate the effort. Steve was very important to a lot of people. The same is true for all of you. Please never lose sight of that. A few of you know that in 2009, I wrote a song called the Hippocratic Ode, an intentionally hokey look at what an idealistic doctor might say to a prospective patient. You will be relieved to learn that I am not going to be singing it for you tonight. Jen McKellar placed an urgent medical ethics consult, and it turns out that exposing you to my singing voice would violate first do no harm. But I do want to share a few of the song's pivotal lines, hokey though they are, just because I think they reflect Steve's approach rather well. I'll take time to know you and make it my plan to listen with kindness and do what I can. I'm still just a person, but I'm one who will try, one who can smile, and one who can cry. I can't promise a cure, but I promise to care. When you're looking back, you will know I was there. Steve's patients definitely knew he was there. And when suddenly he wasn't there, there was an indelible void in their lives. That's a terribly sad consequence of a wonderful thing, relationship-based medicine. Dr. Gradwohl was a master. Now, for those of you who may have drifted off, and who can blame you, my teaching instincts tell me that I should present a little summary of take-home points before moving on to celebrate this year's honoree. Now, because we are emphasizing joy tonight, I thought I would offer you something a little different. I thought it was going to be different, which is a summary in verse. I did not even know at the time that I planned to do this that poetry was going to be such a theme to me. So, here goes. Our objective tonight to acknowledge and share the joy in the practice of primary care. It's great we achieved such a very nice turnout with that as our focus instead of the burnout. But let me assure you, I know the frustrations encountered each day in our work obligations. You answered a message, the inbox defied you. Yes, 2 more replaced it like heads of a hydra. You know how it feels to be left in the lurch when a guy trusts you less than his internet search. How it seems that we'll always be doing each task with the sad inconvenience of wearing a mask. We ask patients their pronouns to best understand them, but fluency still seems to pick one at random. And couldn't we all just get magic machines that convince the reluctant to get their vaccines? Unbelievable things that your patients have said often render you speechless and shaking your head. I'll give 2 examples. They aren't that rare, just par for the course here in primary care. A patient comes in near the end of the day, says he's having a symptom that causes dismay. His uvula aches when he's sending a text. The doctors at Mayo were very perplexed. He thinks it has something to do with his knee, so he wants to see ortho. They'll know the disease. But he's leaving tomorrow for 3 months away, so please call and make sure that it happens today. Another comes in an urgent care slot, but reads a long list of concerns that she's got. Just 17 items of casual chat. Oh, one more, she forgot. There's a lump on her cat. These stories were fiction, but let me suggest, if I had just told you, you might not have guessed. Now let's turn our attention to getting enjoyment from work that we do in our healthcare employment. Recall your petition for med school admission. Before your ambition confronted tuition, you pondered a question, an age-old tradition. So, why do you want to become a physician? We are seeking tonight a reminder we crave, a glimpse back in time to the answers we gave. One path we can take, once this goal is conceived, is returning to Steve and to what he believed. Now, Steve, were he here, would object to the fuss. He'd be eager to say he was just one of us, just doing his best every day to pursue this important but challenging work that we do. And one thing that helped, though I know it sounds trite, is that over the decades he never lost sight of the precepts that drew him to medical school. That each person matters in science is cool. That was probably a little long for a summary. Here's a haiku. A haiku. Steve had a talent, reached past computer keyboards to touch many lives. And now, finally, it is time for me to have the great pleasure of announcing this year's winner of the Gradwohl Art of Primary Care Award, Dr. Seema Saini. Before she comes up, Dr. Saini got both her undergraduate and her medical degrees from Brown University. And then she completed our internal medicine residency program in 2004. During that time, I had the privilege of being one of her attendings. Somehow she overcame that obstacle and went on to do great things for almost 20 years now at the Ann Arbor VA Medical Center, where she has her continuity clinics, Precept's resident clinic, and staffs the emergency department. It is fitting that Seema works at a VA center because Steve attended medical school on an Army scholarship, did his training at the Letterman Army Medical Center in California, and went on to hold a number of important Army medical leadership posts before coming to the University of Michigan. We commend Seema tonight as a true leader in primary care at the VA, and an important voice there for faculty well-being, with a style that can definitely be characterized as relationship-based medicine. As with Steve, I wanted to share a little bit about some of the traits that make her special, the reasons that the committee selected her for this great honor. And because I want to quote this exactly to you, I'm going to read it. Dr. Saini is regarded as one of the top primary care physicians by patients, nurses, residents, and colleagues. She embodies the very definition of clinical excellence. She has proven to be a skilled diagnostician, an advocate for her patients, who has also extended her passion for medicine to her colleagues and beyond. Dr. Saini has demonstrated that she's an ultimate team player. She founded the Ann Arbor VA Journal Club, an educational conference, and she continues to facilitate it. She helped establish the patient-aligned care team model, which is the VA's version of a patient-centered medical home, and she's one of the longest-standing team leaders. During her tenure, she has excelled at identifying opportunities to improve that model and implemented creative solutions to optimize patient care. During the COVID pandemic, Dr. Saini tirelessly volunteered her time as a physician liaison in the VA call center in order to identify patients who required urgent medical attention. She has also graciously volunteered to mentor newly hired physicians and assist them in navigating the VA health system. Well-being and resiliency of primary care colleagues has also been a priority for Dr. Saini. During the early phase of the pandemic, she became one of general medicine's well-being liaisons and educated her peers on methods to promote self-care and mindfulness. She hosted informal virtual colleague gatherings to discuss challenges faced during the pandemic. She has also been selected as an inaugural member of the Department of Internal Medicine's Empower Council. As you may know, that acronym stands for Inspiring Medicine to Promote Well-Being, Equity, and Diversity. As co-chair of the VA Empower Council, she has developed action subcommittees focusing on improving workplace stability, work-life balance, and mental and physical health. When she is not at work, Seema is an active volunteer within the community. She serves on the advisory council of the Ann Arbor Zen Buddhist Temple and has taught meditation at Huron Valley Women's Correctional Facility in Ypsilanti. Somehow she also found time to be a wife and proud mother of 2 daughters. So I am delighted to call Seema up to accept the award and say a few words, because she obviously exemplifies the very best in primary care. But Seema, I just know that you would feel left out if I didn't have a little poem for you as well. So I thought maybe a lyric. There is a physician named Saini whose care is both caring and brainy. By her patients adored, she deserves this award, not to mention a toast. That's champagne. Ladies and gentlemen, see me soon.